Can I tell you about my latest obsession? I cannot get enough of this pumpkin picking candle from Wisco Home Goods. The second I light it, I'm transported to all the things I love about fall. Crisp apple in the air, warm spices, a hint of hayride magic. It's like I'm walking through my favorite orchard, sipping cider, or rustling through a pumpkin patch. It's fall in a jar. And the best part, it's clean burning soy made right here in Madison. Seriously, if autumn had a scent, this is it. Get yours today. You can grab one in-store on Madison's East Side or online at wiscohomegoods.com. You're going to the Wisconsin Book Festival's fall celebration, right? It's our state's premier literary event of the year, and it's less than 2 weeks away. It's October 23rd through the 26th, so get planning and get reading, and we'll see you there. It's a public opportunity with more than 55 events where you can connect with authors and fellow book lovers at Madison Central Library and other downtown venues. It's accessible to everyone, and yes, there are even sometimes free book giveaways with signed copies available from renowned authors. Don't forget, the festival also hosts author programming all year round. So what are you waiting for? Go find the complete schedule at wisconsinbookfestival.org. This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today, it's Thursday, so of course it's time to dish on Madison's food scene. Two former Madison chefs with national acclaim have returned to our region, and they're starting something pretty darn exciting. That's chefs John Nodler and Sam Kincaid, a wife and husband duo who are here with me now. Sam, hello.
Hi.
And hey, John, hey.
What's going on?
So, John, I'm going to start with you. Y'all are opening a new, unique restaurant called Canter in New Glarus. What's the concept?
Yeah, so we are opening a restaurant in New Glarus, Wisconsin. It is called Canter Inn, and we were fortunate enough to stumble across a really beautiful old Victorian building, and we just felt it was an opportunity we couldn't pass up. One of our core beliefs with kind of concepts is that what we do in the space has to fit the space. So while we don't have, that particular buzzword concept, we want the food and the beverage and the experience to feel very authentic to the Victorian house, very personal and authentic to us, and, find its in and outs of the New Glarus tourism community and the New Glarus small town community, and kind of thread the needle through all those different cross sections, I guess.
It's so exciting. Yeah. And it involves renovating that house. It's a 1902 built Queen Anne Victorian house. And there's going to be a restaurant and later on a single suite bed and breakfast upstairs, which is also super exciting. Can you kind of share for us people in Madisonia, how close is New Glarus for the average Madison person to get there?
It's really not that far. And we want everyone to really know that. From probably the near west to west side of Madison, you're looking at anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. It really depends on where you're at on the isthmus. But what I like to tell people is, if you're on the west side and you're trying to get to a restaurant on the east side, it's probably equal to a closer drive out. It's a beautiful drive through, Southern Dane to the entrance to Greene County. It can be maybe more scenic than being stuck in traffic on, John Nolan Drive.
Oh, so fair. So true. I am seriously excited for y'all. And I know you've been working hard in the paint to get Canter Inn ready to open its doors. And you've already had a first look soft opening for friends and family last week. You're planning to officially open your doors to the public today, October 16th. And reservations are already open. Sam, what inspired y'all to start Canter Inn? And is there anything behind the name?
We came back from Philly to southern Wisconsin, not exactly sure, which direction we were going to go in. We found positions in the Madison area, and we're just thinking about being with family, but always keeping an eye open for interesting spaces in Madison or just outside of Madison. We actually ended up between Albany and Monticello, so we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's a trek to get anywhere to, have a great meal or a drink. So we would come to New Glarus, which is the closest kind of big town to us. And just over time, we got to know the community a little bit And we'd come to this restaurant, Christie's, which had been around for over a decade. And at this point had been thinking about different spaces for a couple of years. Thought we overheard the owner, who's the bartender, Christy, maybe talking about trying to sell. And it just kind of sparked something in us that, the space seemed like it had so much potential. It was a beautiful old building with great bones. And we both kind of have a good imagination when it comes to spaces and could just kind of imagine what it could be if it were in our hands. So we just kind of inquired with friends who are in the New Glarus area and got the ball rolling with that conversation. And it just kind of took off from there.
So you were in earshot, like literally a little blessing rolled through.
Absolutely. Pure chance. Couldn't have written that better.
To be honest, we actually don't know. We've never confirmed that that was a conversation. We just left that night and we're kind of like, did you hear that? And then when we inquired with a friend through typical small town communication, they inquired with the owners through Facebook. And that's actually how the ball got rolling.
Wow.
And then the name Canter Inn actually is in part inspired by our experience with Cadence in Philadelphia. So it took us, a long time to come up with the name for Cadence. We had so many kind of finalists, and one of those finalists was actually Canter, which had a similar sort of sense of rhythm and movement as Cadence.
Similar cadence to Cadence.
Exactly. We didn't end up going with it, but we did consider it for maybe a second project in Philly that would sort of support Cadence. So it was already in the back of our minds. And when, of course, we found the space and saw the potential for a bed and breakfast, we tacked on the inn, which also really evokes a kind of sense of it being a home or a domestic space where people should feel welcome to come into our home and meet us, and we'll cook for you, and, we'll treat you with kindness and care. So it just kind of all worked very neatly together. And also, of course, John being so punny, he definitely thought of the fact that you can, canter into the space. So it's almost a directive.
Sure. Canter right in. Well, talking about building a beautiful, welcoming space, I can't imagine two people who would be better at crafting something like that. I should say that you two and I are not strangers. In fact, I worked with you, John, when you were the executive chef at Merchant, the farm to kitchen table restaurant in downtown Madison back in 2012. You remember those days? Remember me?
I still remember those days. I was a little bit younger back then. Definitely younger in my career. We had a lot of fun, and it was an inspiring group of people, all really pushing to do something that we felt was really interesting and, just an exciting time to be a part of the Madison food scene, I think, for all of us.
It was so fun and so inspiring. And, folks have moved on from there. I just spoke with former bar manager and our old friend, Jared Mokanu, here on the show about public parking, his new bar that Bon Appetit named one of the best new bars in America for 2025 recently. So, yeah, amazing things have come out of Merchant. And I want to set the scene even further before we get into more details and particulars of Canter Inn. I'm going to set the table about your culinary background because it's quite impressive. And it also gives some context to folks on why I've been geeking out about Canter Inn on this podcast repeatedly. So as mentioned, John, in 2011, 2012, you were the executive chef at Merchant, which during that time, Merchant really became one of Madison's most sought after restaurants. And Sam, you were pastry chefing at Nostrano off the Capitol Square, RIP Nostrano. Then you, Madison downtown power duo, moved to Philadelphia. Sam, you were named by Food and Wine magazine one of 5 best new pastry chefs in 2014. And then in 2015, John, you got named a James Beard Award semifinalist for Rising Star Chef nationally. That's not even it. Then y'all started a restaurant, as we were talking about, Cadence, which in 2019, Food and Wine magazine named America's best new restaurant, in the whole country. period. And then Cadence made Bon Appetit's annual list of best new restaurants. You might notice I like being a hype person, but like these are like so hypeable things. Like these are really some of the top nods and recognitions that you could possibly get. And now that I've laid out all of your credentials, I want to first say congratulations on your success. I don't know if I've ever gotten to share that with you. And I'm also hungry now, and I want to talk about the restaurant and what the general menu and vibe is going to be like. John, if you could share a bit about what you're thinking and like what kinds of dishes that y'all will have.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for all the praise there, and you're giving us huge shoes to fill as we venture back into our own restaurant here. We definitely want to and hope to live up to the hype for everyone. Ultimately, we just want people to come in here for a great experience, whether you're seeking a really great culinary experience, a really great drinking experience, or just like a great night out. We are very proud of all of our accolades and everything that we've done in the past. But I think ultimately what we've found through our careers is we do our best when we work together, and we do our best when it's a very genuine expression, and maybe when it's not as tied to, say, a concept, but when it can just be us, cooking what we believe is really tasty, cooking the products that we really want to stand behind, surrounding ourselves with people who have those same goals with beverage, with hospitality. We really believe like with food and cooking and beverage, like nothing is sacred. There's always maybe a different way or a better way that we haven't thought about, or maybe isn't in the cookbook. So just being nimble and flexible and doing what feels, I think, right and genuine to us is really where we've had the best success, and we really hope to see this project go. As far as Canter and food menu is concerned, I can speak to savory because that's a little more my wheelhouse. We want the savory menu to what we've called it is kind of a neighborhood fine dining restaurant. So the savory menu, we want to kind of run the gambit of dishes that are great celebration dishes. You can come in for that 3-course experience. You can come in to enjoy, a beautifully prepared steak or pork chop with lots of vegetables on the plate, which, to be honest, will be something a little bit more unique to the New Glarus dining scene right now. We love the food out here. There's a lot of bars and grills, lots of taverns that are great places to, kind of jump into for a quick bite. But if you're really looking for kind of a craveable vegetable, we've always felt as residents of the county, it's hard to find. So we really hope to kind of fill that void. We'll have a section of snacks and starters that could easily make up a meal. They could be bites just to drink along with, sitting at the bar. Some of those things will be, things that we're really passionate about, some fish and seafood dishes, things like beef tartare. Some of those things will be things that tap into kind of the local culinary scene. So, doing what we hope is a really great version of a fondue or a roasty that is a great format for someone to come in and just have as a snack or have alongside an entree. So we're really trying to, pull a lot of the different avenues together because New Glarus is a very dynamic town and it's a very dynamic location, being a great local community, a hop, skip, and a jump away from Madison, a tourist destination for Chicagoland people. So our goal is really the food and beverage, while not a concept to put on paper like, say, Italian or French, is a program that kind of meets a lot of different people halfway and allows us to, really express things that we find to be super yummy and super tasty at the end of the day.
Delicious. Starving over here all of a sudden. And you covered the savory, as you said. Sam, you are a bona fide pastry chef. What about the sweets? Like, what are y'all's plans around dessert?
Yeah, I think the goal has always been, when working with John especially, to kind of follow that thread of the savory courses and pull certain elements from them into desserts. And I think that remains part of the goal, but even more so now, I think that the desserts can really be a kind of quiet ending that doesn't require too much thinking, just a really satisfying sort of last few bites with just enough sweetness, a little richness, but generally flow kind of naturally from the savory to your finish. And you should still feel comfortable and good when you're all done with your meal.
They're taking us on a journey. There's a connective thread there and tissue, which I love to hear. Because rather than and you're getting carrot cake or something, like something random that you're like, wait, how does that go with this?
What I'm really excited for Sam's desserts in this restaurant, because I think Sam has run pastry programs for restaurant groups as well as just independent restaurants of her own. So she's always been able to kind of flex to the needs of the specific locations. And I think what it seems like is really driving a lot of the dessert here is, again, going back to the space, the Victorian space, and just kind of the feeling around being in this house, this Victorian space, these like maybe decadent like mousse pies and custard tarts and like, I don't know. I don't want to say it, but maybe this is Sam's like Great British Baking era,
Ooh! I was going to ask, as Canterbury Tales is what came up for me when I was thinking about.
That's certainly been asked.
Someone did bring that up, yeah.
Remember that weird sound your furnace made last winter? The one you hoped wouldn't get worse? Hope's not a great heating strategy. Not in Wisconsin. By December, the phones ring nonstop, everyone's furnace decides to quit at the same time, emergency calls, big repair bills, long wait lists, all when your family needs heat most. Right now, Cardinal Heating is offering $1,000 off a new furnace and AC system, but only until October 31st. And there's up to $2,600 in federal rebates and tax credits you could qualify for, but those expire at the end of 2025. This isn't just a deal, it's peace of mind. When it's 5 degrees outside, you'll be warm and relaxed because you took care of it now. Visit cardinalservice.com and schedule your free estimate. The last good deal of the year is right now, before the cold, before the panic, before prices rise. It was a dark and stormy night, and you were caught on Hallows Eve without a costume. The horror! Are you ready for Halloween? You could buy something new, but why would you when you could get something spectacular and unique at a low cost at your local St. Vinny's? St. Vincent de Paul, Madison has it all. Halloween accessories, wigs, shoes, and more for your DIY costume. They've got Halloween costumes for the whole family, including kids and pets. And speaking from personal experience, I found incredible sequins dresses, bespoke blazers, and dramatic fashion accents for costumes there. St. Vinny's is my go-to for finding an outfit item that's kind of tricky that I don't have for my costume. Plus, if you need any Halloween yard decorations, perhaps you have to haunt up a haunted house, they got you. By the way, while you're there, why not get a jumpstart on your holiday shopping? St. Vinny's gift cards make for the perfect present for any occasion. Go secure your costume. Head on over to Madison St. Vinny's today. Explore the wonders of science at the 15th Annual Wisconsin Science Festival, October 16th through the 26th. With over 200 events happening in more than 55 counties throughout Wisconsin, this statewide celebration brings science, technology, and art to all ages. It's a jam-packed 10 days of learning, ranging from interactive experiments to thought-provoking panels to the fusion of art and science. It kicks off on October 16th with the fan favorite, Science on the Square. On October 17th, it's time for laughs, where you can join for Sci-Prov, where science meets improv comedy. And if you like great shows, on October 21st, head to the Majestic Theater for the Y-Sci Variety Show for a fast-paced, fun-filled night of nerdy flash talks mixed with artful performance. And on Saturday, October 25th, be sure to check out the UW-Madison Campus Open House. Plus, throughout the Wisconsin Science Fest, you'll be able to join for their signature events like Crossroads of Ideas, Soundwaves, and Wisconsin Book Festival author events. There's truly something for everyone in every corner of Wisconsin. For more event details, visit wiscifest.org. Both of y'all's food is just gorgeous, and the fact that there is a partnership and that you guys have found that you work so well together is like very extraordinary. I'm just going to talk a little bit on you more because I know you said, John, like I'm giving you big shoes to fill. And also, Sam, you saying that the dessert would be like a quiet ending. I have never met such a dynamic duo, the likes of y'all, like ever. And you're very quiet about the power that you guys possess, like very unpretentious people. And you stay focused. And really, for me, you embody the principle of Lil Wayne, like, geez, move in silence like lasagna. Like, you are paying attention. And I first fell in love with you, Sam, when you would come into Merchant and would sit after your shift at the bar and just drink a glass of wine and, like, be reading a book. You guys are everyone's favorite couple, and you're always punching above your weight. And I don't mean to, like, put it on too thick, but here you go. I already did it. But speaking about, like, sitting and, like, hanging out at a bar, will you guys have that? You talked about a beverage program. Are you going to have a space at the bar for folks who aren't necessarily coming in to dine?
We will absolutely have that space. We are very excited about that space. That space seems to be something that the community is really craving. The opportunity to come and have a great cocktail and read a book and take off, or come and have a great glass of wine or drink before your dinner at Canter Inn, or even to, stumble into Canter Inn maybe after your night out at one of the bars across the street, one of the places that's doing live music, and just to come in for that, like, later in the evening experience. We're very excited about that. What we really want to avoid is people feeling a commitment to any one way of dining here. We'll have our menus and we'll have our products, and we really want to showcase that. But the more people that can wander in and have their own different angles with their dining experience, whether it's a drink with a snack, or a 5-course tasting, we want to be able to really be that place for everyone.
Yeah, Canter in and choose your adventure. I'm sticking with the literary vibes. Yeah, it's a great place to talk about renovations, because I was wondering if starting this business would, obviously both of you have had such success starting businesses and projects and building them from the ground up or the near ground up, and picking an over 120-year-old house might present a couple of challenges, unless maybe it's a cakewalk, but it sounds like you've already been in the renovation game. Sam, can you tell us about the house itself and the renovations that are going on right now?
Yeah. The home was built in 1902, and we actually randomly met the, I believe, great-grandson of the original homeowner, who was Fred Strife. So it's a pretty classic Queen Anne Victorian home. The restaurant space mainly takes up the first floor, so classic, 4 rooms, and then the kitchen with these beautiful original pocket doors that we were able to sort of clean up and with a little paint, and now we're able to showcase. And the second floor is, very residential, and we'll plan to reopen that as private dining and the future, bed and breakfast Airbnb space. Some of the main work that we did, the biggest lifts, were actually refinishing the floors. We pulled up loads of carpet.
So much fun doing that.
Very, very dusty. And we discovered, with the help of our contractor, that the floors had great potential, and they refinished them. They're Doug fir, and they're just so warm and gorgeous. And when the light hits them, it's just, it all transforms the space entirely. So that, along with just some, new coats of paint, a different color scheme. We found these beautiful lights from a small maker in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, which, when we were living in Pennsylvania and working in Philly, would often source from farms there. It's very traditionally an agricultural-driven county, and has always reminded us of sort of like the green county of Pennsylvania, just, classic rolling hills, small family farms dotting those hills. So it's very much like a kind of bridge between Pennsylvania and Greene County. And the bar we transformed as much as possible with lovely wallpaper that we thought evoked the Queen Anne Victorian style, and beautiful custom hutch made by New Glarus woodworker, and some shelves that my dad made from wood from our lot out in Greene County. So just It's a, combination of those bigger lifts that we did to sort of unpeel layers of renovations over many decades to return to the sort of look and feel of the original home, alongside lots of just little decisions about materials and functional spaces for us to use as a restaurant.
I always picked the Victorian house when I played the game of life, the board game. I feel like the thing with them is everything's really in the details, like the beautiful little details. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, especially peeling back the layers as we've been doing renovations. For example, we worked with a contractor on the main floor, and they've been phenomenal to work with, have had a bunch of really great trades, and really allowed us to source the materials we want to work with and drive the project in that regard. And they've just been amazing at kind of pulling it all together. But we really thought the bar would be transformed if we leaned into some traditional paper wallpaper. And we found a product that we were really excited about. They were actually very excited about hanging it. The paper hangers was, he was so impressed that we chose a paper wallpaper, like a traditional product, because so many people have moved away from those. But while they were working downstairs, we've been kind of chipping away at the upstairs, and we'd started painting the upstairs. And so when removing like the old fixtures and the vent covers, we noticed the wallpaper behind those was like a near identical pattern, just slightly different color scheme to the one we picked.
Going on? You're getting whispers there. Is this place haunted? I was gonna ask anyway. It's Halloween season.
I don't know. Maybe it's haunted.
Yeah, there's good hauntings.
Yeah. What we would like to think is, we've always thought about how we can kind of restore it to what we thought it would look like in kind of previous iterations of it. And there have been a handful of times where we've like found a relic that, is from not the owner before us, but one of the owners before them. And we've decided to, redo something in the fashion that it seemed like it came from. So it's been really fun. It's kind of like, we love thinking about spaces as much as we love thinking about cooking. We were fortunate enough to build our house when we moved back. Architecture, design, it's something we're really passionate about. And I think right now, as we've kind of been in the home stretch and getting open and, about to be open to the public, all the little details definitely catch up with you. And I can see why people, lean into, a lot of support for sourcing materials and helping them design their spaces. But we just find, again, it just creates like that very authentic, like earnest expression of what we're trying to do. If we can really, have our hands in those decisions just as much as we have our hands in the food.
Well, if the house could talk and it's like, please bring me back to my original state, that story that you peeled it back and it was like a near identical to what you picked, that is wild. I still have goosebumps over here about that you guys are doing such a good job. I'm so excited. I love spaces as well. The aesthetic is it's just so much fun. And I'm sure folks listening right now are thinking, when can I stay? Like what's the plan for the single unit B&B upstairs? Like when does the inn part of the Canter Inn come into the picture?
Well, you can always canter on in. So the inn exists as long as you drop one of the ends. However, the stay upstairs, New Glarus is a big tourist town, especially in the on season, which runs kind of April through, it's actually extending more and more as they have grown their kind of winter festival season. So we're hoping that the inn portion, and no hard dates here, but can be activated in the spring or early summer of 2026.
Well, that's really exciting. And I know that New Glarus has so much energy, and it feels like you all are moving into this space as more energy is coming, and you're bringing something new. And from what you shared, that you guys have found a home there and a community, which is really heartening. Before I let you go, this question is to each of you, starting with you, Sam. Like, what are your highest dreams for the Canter Inn? Like, let's say I've talked to you about this in 2 years' time. What are you hoping to be seeing and doing at the Canter Inn?
I know this is a tall order for us, but the dream is really to be kind of like an institution. We own this building. We're hopefully in it for as long as we can still get up and move around. I'd love for it to be a space that grows and evolves with the community. And there's always something new for the community or a reason for folks to come from, whether it's Madison or Chicagoland or farther afield. But just to be that sort of reliable, exciting, and, it's like second home or, third space for people.
That sounds pretty damn dreamy to me. That's a great dream. How about you, John? Your dreams for Canter Inn?
Yeah, my immediate dream is to bolster up the kitchen staff a little bit. It seems to be chronic everywhere. No, I mean, my dreams for Canter Inn are very in line with Sam. I mean, our intention was to really ingrain ourselves in this community because it's a really dynamic community. It's growing. The village is becoming just more of a dynamic gathering space for the town of New Glarus, which is really growing around it. And just in general, with Madison continuing to grow more southern through, Verona and Belleville and Paoli, and these communities all growing, like New Glarus is right on track for that. And we've seen that with the residents here and the people coming into town to dine and to shop. There's a huge retail community here. So, seeing Canter Inn kind of evolve as a space for people in all of their own special ways. For us personally, I know it looks like it, but we're not getting any younger, especially Sam. She just ages backwards somehow, which is impressive. We would love to be able to find a staff that really wants to be here and be a part of it. It's a small operation, and we found we kind of have the most influence on people in small operations when we can really be maybe more one-on-one with teaching. We can be more one-on-one with kind of the attention to detail and the craft and, quite frankly, the trade of cooking, because it blends craft and trade and, art as well. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure it's consistent. So teaching younger people the trade of what we do is something that's really important to us. And we hope that, cooks, just like they drive from, Belleville to Madison, will want to drive from Madison to New Glarus, and that goes same for servers and bartenders, like really finding our way into the community of kind of the more learning kitchens in town.
Yeah, the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be honest, John and Sam, I'm feeling emotional thinking about the fact that you two will be in that space for, like you said, until you can't be there no more. We're really lucky that you came back to the Midwest and that you're starting this. And I feel better as a human being knowing that you two are out there and making this happen. And, you will be bringing a sense of home. I am starting to tear up. Oh. I'm proud of you guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
I don't know.
So sweet.
Yeah, I'm really proud. And you two are really beautiful people, really gentle spirits, and so good at what you do. So thank you for, coming back and lending your talents to this area. Canter Inn is going to be incredible, and I cannot wait to go.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your support. So so amazing.
Thank you for coming on CityCast Madison. We really appreciate you, sharing the story and giving us the details, because I know so many people are curious. So I'm just saying one more time, thank you, John, and thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would love to point out that when we moved back, I think you were one of the first people I saw, because I was walking on the Capitol and all of a sudden you came driving around the outer loop and just yelled, "John." And it was so it's so great that, to have this interview, kind of connect again and just kind of lean into all those old memories. Because it was such a great time back then, and obviously you were welcoming our first day back in town, and you just continue to give support, and we really appreciate it.
I remember that moment, and I really was like, "Oh my God, they're back!" That's John Nodler and Sam Kincaid, award-winning chefs and co-owners of Canter Inn in New Glarus. They're open, so go check them out. That's all for today, here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And I've got a new neighbor to thank, Catherine PM. Catherine shared why she joined the membership program. Quote, "It's a great way to get the local news that affects our daily lives. I've served on my neighborhood association board, yay North Star neighborhood, since 2017, and local community and how it connects to the greater city has become increasingly important to me. I love that CityCast Madison helps create the quote neighborhood of local news that keeps us informed and entertained every day." Thank you so much, Catherine. Seeing your why brought the biggest smile to my face. It is so lovely to hear that. And this is to everyone listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, why not share it with somebody who likes a good meal in a new place? Alrighty, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and thanks for listening.